Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So we're following on from a test we actually done already.
Yes.
Actually down at the PGA show with the Apex Pros. And you made a bookmark at that point of saying we have to test this more once we get it back to the shop.
First impressions were really, really good.
Yep.
Loved the look, sound, feel, ball flight, everything of them on that windy day.
It was an awfully windy day,
It wasn't a great day to test, but they made a good impression, which is, it's kind of been cool to see since, because we were so brief with them, obviously, just due to the day's scheduling. And then subsequent to that, you've seen just so much online from all the big names saying how good they are. I think Rick Shields loves them, and a bunch of other guys are saying that they're obviously really good clubs. So interesting to see that our first impression seems to be right, but we haven't done anywhere near a proper test, which we're going to do today. Definitely curious to see how they actually perform with numbers and such.
Well, I remember when we hit these, we actually had hit the regular Apex first.
Correct.
And then we hit the Pros, and there was, I think there was a 1 mile an hour difference in ball speed between the two. And that's what was quite shocking to me, because I love the look of them, and you know, obviously the soft 1025 carbon steel is kind of the real premium material that most of the companies will go with. But to get that amount of performance out of it as well, I mean, you know, when you look at the technology that's packed into this club, they've really went after the best of both worlds. They've went after the guy who's looking for some help in tech and, you know, so the attributes of the modern iron. Yeah, exactly. That's really what this is carrying. It really does have, you know, the ball speed, the feel, the look. It ticks all those boxes. The one caution, and you know, you'll be the perfect person to expose it if it's the truth, is there may be a caution that they might go a little too far for some people.
Yeah, so the person that isn't necessarily looking for distance, maybe this isn't the best iron because they're designed to get some quick speeds out of it. Yep. But that being said, maybe we'll be able to play around with lofts and things like that. And as we've seen, trying a different golf ball can help.
Yeah, huge
There's
amount.
So many ways you can make. I mean, if you're in love with an iron and it's the one you want, and you hit it well. There's obviously ways you can dial it in further. For sure.
Well, I mean, just even digging into a little bit about that tech, you know, just so you guys can kind of know a little bit about what's under the hood here, because when you look at it, it just looks like a nice, clean, cavity-back forged iron.
It does.
But there's more to it than that.
And even funny enough, from the back badge, it doesn't particularly look like there's a ton of tech. I mean, I understand there's some, you know, obvious features to it, but it does look pretty traditional. It looks fairly simple in the design.
Well, I mean, you don't know that it's got cup face. You don't know that it's got 50 grams of tungsten in there. You know, all these sorts of things are hidden into the head. You know, the million microspheres
you don't see
across
those.
the face, you know, that are designed to create a very unique feel. And, you know, just even warming up and stuff, we both talked a little bit about, you know, they have a unique sound and feel. They are different. They're not your regular iron. You know, we just done the Mura stuff last week. It has a very unique feel, very solid. This has a different unique feel to it and a different identity. So it'll be interesting when we wrap this up to see what your thoughts are on that.
On the feel, for sure. Okay. All right. Well, let's get into it.
New iron shaft for you today?
Different iron shaft. So you've got a little play in with the X100s recently.
Yep.
So you've got my curiosity going again. I have a feeling that I'll probably switch iron shafts this year, I think.
Yeah, you fancy something a little bit heavier?
Well, we'll certainly be going through the test and trying. I have a feeling that something else might suit. You never know.
Back to so I've popped you back into X7 here.
Oh, these are the big boys.
This is the big boy shaft.
Gotcha.
133 grams and quite a bit stiffer than X1. So let's see what we got.
Yeah, they're very, very compact. I think the blade length is nice and short for someone that likes the look of that. Very rounded overall look, which I think it will appeal to quite a few people. A
lot of people have actually said they feel, I've given it to a few people in the last few weeks, so they say they're a little intimidated by the head size.
So do you know what I think it is? And this might just be my observation. The actual satin finish area where there's grooves, it actually looks short relative to the head. It almost looks like they could have extended it further.
A fraction further.
Because the head isn't that small, but the actual hitting area looks small. So I'm not sure if that was intentional, but I would imagine that's what people are seeing.
Interesting, Matty.
All right.
Nice, Matty boy.
That felt nice. I'm going to venture a guess that actually had some decent spin on it.
5,700.
That's pretty good for your boy here.
That's a lot of spin for you, actually.
Isn't it?
A lot of spin for you. 205 in the air. That's a lot of carry distance out of that. Out of a slight toe strike as well.
Usual spot. Like that.
Mm-hmm. It's nice as well.
Yeah, not as well hit, but certainly no issue. Bit of a toe strike for sure. It's initially what it's sounding like to me is quite a bit of a clicky sound to it.
It's got a little bit of a higher pitch,
You're
doesn't it?
perceiving that?
Yeah, definitely.
It's not unpleasant, but it's, as you said, it's different. It's definitely different. I think the reason why, after a few swings of the show, we kind of both went like, "Whoa, those sound like you're just hammering them."
Yeah.
I think that's part of it. It sounds like the ball is rocketing off.
Yeah. That's nice, Matty. Sounded really solid there.
Caught the center.
Get down. Enough. Enough ball.
Yeah, that really caught the center. That's a misread for sure.
Yeah, misread.
Promise you I hit the middle. It's you know what? Kind of interesting to see mid 5,000s because I struggle with low 5,000s on my irons for the most part. Are we talking about the same lofts that I play? Are these 20?
Literally, this is every iron I ever give you always just comes at your spec.
29, right?
And 29 is the standard on this, Matty.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another thing for you this year. We might want to dial your lofts back a little bit.
Because the Miuras you were trying last week, the 501 start at 30.
Yep.
And a degree of loft can make a fair amount of difference.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, to you, it's worth about 3 yards of distance.
And probably a little bit of spin or something like that?
Yeah. Definitely. I would say probably a couple hundred RPMs per degree.
Interesting. That one's roasted a bit more.
Well, that last one that's a different animal there, isn't it?
So this is where I think you might start to, if I'm playing devil's advocate and I'm in your head during a fit, maybe you'd look at that one because I didn't turn it over a ton.
Yeah.
But that was quite a lot of distance. Extra, I guess you'd say. It didn't turn over a whole lot, but we saw quite a big ball speed jump. The spin was okay, though, I guess.
Spin was okay, and you know all the ball flight sort of characteristics that you've got going on with this. It's coming in with tons of stopping power. It's coming in from 130 feet. It's coming in at 48 degrees. 5,200 is enough spin, certainly to stop it.
So that was a manageable. If that was pulled a bit on the golf course, it's manageable.
100%.
Wasn't like it went.
It's not a flyer. It's far from being a flyer.
Yeah.
Do me a favor. Just dial this back a little. Just make it set a real smoothie. Okay. That just looked like a nice one.
Yeah, I tried to be a little.
Still flying 200 yards.
It's to the front of the green.
199 yards and just a little gentle one.
And still maintains a decent amount of spin, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because we do get questions about spin rates. We got some even when you were hitting some. Mm-hmm. But we have to mention that's more characteristic of you and I as a golf swing, not so much the irons.
Yeah,
if you're a little shallower, you just don't put as much spin on an iron as someone else who's steeper.
That's exactly right. Okay, Matty, loft's at 31 now, a little bit weaker.
Okay, so that's pretty well struck. A little thin, but not bad at all.
We'll take it. That's nice. That's shaping back in really well.
Yeah, like maybe a shade heavy, but again, more than acceptable. Yeah, so far you've pretty much done exactly what you said, no?
I mean, it's fractions though.
Yeah.
And I think what people will see from this is that, we get asked a lot, oh, you guys are, got the loft way too strong.
No.
It's the head. It's the characteristics of the head here that are
true.
jumpy. You know, we're not going to regulate you with this iron with the loft.
It because of the DNA of the head is quite jumpy. Yeah.
That's what it is. It's just this head is just very, very quick, and probably a little quicker than you need it to be.
That's the.
I was going to say that sounded really.
The best one I've hit. Yeah. Just slightly overdrew it, and a bounce I've never seen in the screen before.
I think that hit a sprinkler.
What the hell is that? Interesting.
Yeah, but look, I mean, when you roast that, there's the danger for you right there.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, you've hit it. I mean, we're not exactly going to rake you over the coals.
No,
hitting it 8 yards offline.
No.
But you scorched it. It was 142 miles an hour ball speed. It flew 214. The jumpiness is in the head, not the loft.
And this is a question people always ask: is it like is it a jumper that somehow you can blame the club for being inconsistent? And I try to answer these questions as clearly as I can, but my theory of it is it's not like the club just all of a sudden hits a hot shot over the green. It's you getting the face closed on a jumpy club is just more, I guess, damaging than a weaker sort of designed blade. Is that what it is? It's just more susceptible to a closed face?
Well, I mean, looking at that, the face here got a little closed. The dynamic loft wasn't crazy, crazy low.
Yeah.
You were a fraction shallower, so you're a little bit. You struck it great.
Yeah.
You were a fraction shallower. You had a little less loft.
Right.
You know, it's everything combined there that creates a little bit of a jumpy one. Yeah. You know, there's probably a couple of yards in each of those factors, and then you put them all together, and then you get one that went a little too far.
Yep, gotcha. I'm trying to keep this more on the center line. Okay,
that was nice as well.
Yeah, that one's actually better because I think it was square face. But that was funny.
Really good.
The yardage isn't really going away, is it?
Yeah. No, it's staying right there, Matty, and
spinning a fraction more than we saw earlier, and it's launching the same, which is interesting, isn't it?
So,
and in fact, because I swung a little faster the last couple, I guess the averages are. Yeah, that was just a quick swing.
Yeah, you're warming up. And you could say, you're 1 mile an hour faster. It's not a huge difference, but we're just not seeing a significantly different flight. I mean, looking at those.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Those two, it's quite similar.
So what the first takeaway is, anyone looking for a nice ball speed in a player's shape, this has got to be one of the best options we've tried so far.
If you're someone who needs a little bit of help, a little bit of speed, prefers the player shape to some of the bigger heads, this is a really good option.
Yeah.
Okay.
Show you one more.
Show us one more.
That's good too.
It's good. It's really good.
No, I think it's a really, really good iron.
Excellent, isn't it?
I don't see any reason why, for most people, maybe it can be a little hot at times, but it's, for the most part, if you're going to get fit, that's a lot of spin too. 5,800 for me is quite a lot. A lot of people have been asking about spin rates relative to number iron. What is the progression of that? What are you looking for in a 6 iron and then up and down?
It's unfortunate that there's been some information kind of put out there that you should try and match the number of spin to the iron that you play. So 5,000 spin in a 5 iron, 6,000 a 6 iron, 7,000 a 7 iron. That just isn't the case.
Okay.
People don't create enough speed between clubs to generate 1,000 more spin per club. Okay. You just can't stretch spin that much. The guy who spins it at 10,000 with his wedge is not going to spin it at 4,000 with his 4 iron. It's just not going to happen. The spin progression is more like 700 per increment. So.
And it will depend on whether the player has enough landing angle to where you may not need them to have as much spin because the ball's coming in steep enough.
Well, here's the funny thing with spin, Matty. So obviously we, have done a lot with that cut ball recently.
Yeah.
And we've had opportunities in the last week or so with players who are shallow and don't spin it too much to go, try this. This cut ball will help you. Raising the spin 1,000 RPMs does nothing to the height.
Is that right?
Nothing.
Because it will in fact launch lower sometimes. Anyway.
It will at times launch, most of the time actually it will launch a fraction lower due to the friction rate being a little bit higher. So it will actually pull it down slightly. And even though the spin comes up, it doesn't make much of a change to the actual flight at the speeds that we're testing at.
Right.
So certain people, if you were really fast, you would certainly see spin give the ball a bit more lift.
Yeah.
Velocity is the one that changes it.
Interesting.
Do you remember that back to that I-500 video?
Yeah.
Remember the 25.5 degree loft versus the 27 versus the 29?
Right, it flew higher with more ball speed.
It was at its highest with the least amount of loft because the velocity was the primary factor in creating the up.
It's interesting.
Right? So, you know, when people get hung up on spin, understand what spin does.
Yeah.
Spin will help the ball. You know, it's like a plane landing, you know, it's full flaps on. That's spin, you know, it's when it hits the green, it's trying to get it to stop. But it doesn't change the ball flight too much in the air.
In the height category. You'd rather see get height from other factors, other variables, versus getting it from spin.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, if we added I gave you right now a cut golf ball, you'd spin it, sure, you'd spin it in the high sixes.
Yeah.
You might pick up 5 or 6 feet of lift at your speed.
Yep.
And you're, you know, faster than 99.9%. So, but for most golfers, it just doesn't make a huge difference. So,
interesting.
Making sure that the ball flight is balanced. But my takeaway on this is this just wouldn't be the head that we would look at for you.
For me specifically, yeah. I think it checks a lot of boxes.
Yeah.
But we would probably look for something that is a little more consistent in distance control. Is that your thought?
Well, looking across the board there, 205, 204, 214, 209, 206. You know, we have a decent range there. When we hit it the first time, 201 to 214. We have, again, a bit of a range there. Yeah. So shows us that our distance control for someone of your, you know, kind of playing ability, it's not exactly where we want it with this iron, but that's because you've got so much speed.
Yeah, so we flip the script completely to someone of average speed, and this becomes like a great choice.
An unbelievable choice.
Because they're going to see that disparity be so much smaller anyway, plus they're going to gain some yardage from the ball speed.
If golfers ask themselves how often they hit it over the back of a green.
That's the question.
You know, which isn't often.
It's never.
Then if you hit it over the back of the green, an iron like this will not be what you want, because at times if you catch one so perfect like you did on a couple of those, sure, you might gain 5 or 6, 7 yards.
Yeah.
But that's only if you're a little susceptible to hitting over the back of a green. Most people don't.
Most people aren't, you're right.
Most people absolutely do not. So
true.
they could do with getting it up to pin high for a change rather than being, you know, in the front third of the green.
Very true.
That's the role I see this iron playing. But I tell you what, I love it, and I know that there's going to be so many people that come in this year that we will fit that to. That will be a real bestseller for us.
I was going to say, I have a feeling this will be one of your top 3 for sure.
100% agree with that.
Yep.
I really like everything about it. I love the sound. I've hit it. I love the feel. I love the look of it.
The address look is as good as anything I've seen in this size of a head.
You said that in Orlando, didn't you? You actually kind of pointed that one out as probably the one that you wanted to use, and
earmarked it.
Now maybe you've changed your mind a little bit on that.
Well, I think I just like the more I listen to you about distance control and stuff like that, the more it makes sense to me to say, okay, it's nice to go and tell someone your 6-iron goes 215.
I know.
There's no way I'm going to hit greens when I don't know exactly how far the ball's going to go.
Yeah.
I need to have the consistency for me to hit more greens, because I do tend to, if I miss and I've smoked one, I do hit it long a lot.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then you should be looking for something that's a little bit more, I guess, modest in ball speed. Cool.
Excellent. Well, guys, hopefully this has given you a little bit more depth into our review of the Apex Pros. You know, like we've said, we are huge fans of them. I think it's going to be something that a lot of you should go and try this sort of spring and demo season. So let us know if you have done already or what you've found. There's a new black finish that goes with it, a smoke finish, which there's a little upgrade in those, so they look really sharp. So we're seeing a lot of irons going that way, aren't we?
Quite a few. Titleist has done it.
Titleist are doing it, and
P790s have done it.
Yeah, P790s, Muras, and the ones we done last week, they have a black option.
Sharp.
Looks really good. So Apex has followed suit with that.
Awesome.
So good options.
Yeah, really good.
Excellent. All right, guys, appreciate you watching. We'll see you again soon.